In this session, we're going to start looking to put some assets out onto our web page. So we're going to be dealing with some graphics and text. And first of all, we're going to start by using the header section. So I'm just selecting the header section and I'm going to change from live view into design view. So into the header section, and as you can tell, the code's already highlighted here. So just dragging the image over to the header section and letting that go. And the places stay appears. I'm going to remove the header text that's living in there at the moment. And while I'm here, I also want to add the other part to this, which is adding in the sign in page as well, or icon. So these two graphics have come in now. Now you notice there's an alt text. This is important because what this actually does, if the browser can't display the image, it'll actually display the text. So the alt text or alternate text in this case will be places to stay, and then in the other one we've got sign in. So that way if the images don't appear, they know what the objects are. So now what I want to do is float the sign in button across to the right so it lines up a little bit better with our nav system. So what I want to do is select the sign in button and go up to CSS Designer, make sure I've got Global CSS selected, and I want to create a new class. Now you notice that it's actually targeting the container, the header, and then the image tag, which is the img tag. Now I don't want to create a rule targeting this object only. I want to create a class that I can use on a couple of objects. And I'm going to call this .float right. In the new CSS rules, I'm going to click on the box option and just go down and float it to the right. So at the moment I've set up a generic class, but I haven't actually applied it to any items. We can see this in our CSS with a float right and with float right. I'm just going to go Command Save, but it hasn't been applied to the button yet. So I'm selecting the sign in, and then I'm going to open up my property selector, and underneath class I can then find my float right and apply the class to the sign in. Now this class is applied as an inline style. If I go to my code view, you can see that here we've got the image source, places to stay, and then it actually has the height class. So it's applied the style to the image tag. And while we're working with the properties selector, I can actually put in a link. So if I had another page called sign in page, which could have gone to a PHP and MySQL database, I could put the link in there for a logon page. But since it's a link but I haven't got the page yet, I'm just going to put the hash symbol there, which creates a dead link in live view. So when we go back to live view and we look at the page, when I go across to it, it still turns to a hand, but yet the link doesn't take us anywhere. To finish out the header section, click on the logo, because most logos will take you back to the index.html, and this time I'm going to click on File and open the Properties panel and go to the link the image back to the HTML by using the rubber band tool. So as I select that, it automatically puts the link for us into the folder. So we can either type the link in manually, or we can use the rubber band tool to actually select objects from out of our site. Now what we want to do is add some content by selecting the word content and moving back from live into design view. Places to stay on the coast, and we want to highlight this and go to our properties, and once again we want to apply a style, but this time what we want to apply is the H1 rule under format, and this applies the colors and the styles that we previously created in our global CSS. So if we move up to where the H1 is, we can see it's got the impact font. It also has the size and also the color. We can adjust the colors as we go, and therefore, the style sheet will adjust every H1 tag. Now what we want to do is place our image into the page. So I'm going to go back to the HTML and save that, and I'm going to click just past the text where our H1 tags ended, and you can see it's highlighted down, places stay on the coast. And what we want to do is insert a new rule. So we're going to insert a new div, but this time at insertion point, and that's right at the end. and it's going to be a new class, and this one's going to be our hero. Now a lot of people use hero images to build their websites, so we're going to be using the same one. Remember to apply it to your global CSS. We're going to select background, and we're going to put our coastal image in the background of this div, and we're going to select our hero image of the beach. We don't want to repeat our background, and then we want to set a fit height for our div of 400 pixels, and then click on OK to see the new background. As you can see, our hero image doesn't actually fit to screen, so we need to go back to our properties inspector, go down to our hero image, go down to our backgrounds, and auto the background to 100% to give us our hero image inside of our hero box. Now what we want to do is create a transparent black box for our hero text to sit on top of our hero image. To do this, I'm actually going to select the hero text, and inside here we want to place a new div tag. So we're going to create this manually with div and have an ID, and this ID is going to be hero text. And then once again at the end of the text we need to close that. Now we can use, remember, the names. So this one here is going to be the end of the hero text, and I'll just go to code view to make it look a little bit neater. So this is the end of the hero text, and this one here is the end of the hero image or the hero box. So we're going to be talking to the hero text inside there. Another thing we're going to have is a paragraph tag. So this is going to form a paragraph that we can talk to in the way of inside this container, inside this container, inside this container, there is a paragraph tag, and we can actually apply style rules just to this or to the containers that hold those. So let's first of all go deal with the hero text container. So let's create a style rule for that. So we're going to go to CS Designer. I'm actually going to select the hero text, and now I'm going to add a rule. Now you notice that there is all the way down to the text, which is fine, and I'm going to press the enter. What we want to do is create a simple rule for the hero text box, or in this case the hero text, and what we want to do is set the background color. So once again, go to the background, set the background color to black, and we'll go back to the split view now. So we can see that we've got a black bar going all the way across there. Now we've got a position and we want it to be relative. Now if you can't find it quickly, you can always type it in. So you go position, and then it gives you the options, and then once you start typing it, it gives you that option. Now that applies the position as relative. So then if you want to change the opacity while I'm here, and then I can set it to 0.6, which is 60%. You notice that it's lightened up on the screen already. Now a couple of other things I can set here while I'm waiting. I can set the width, and rather scrolling all the way to the top, I can set that to 40%, and it automatically applies that for me. I can actually set a top gap as well, and that's going to be 20 pixels. And if I wanted, I can also float it, and I can set it to the right. Now if I'm finding that it's not quite wide enough, 40% isn't enough, I'll go to 50%, and that's a lot better. So, and there's got to remember 20 pixel gap at the top. That might be a little large at this point in time, so I'll change that to 10 pixels. Just make sure we put the PX afterwards to ensure that you get 10 pixels. It's still not quite wide enough, so once again we'll go to 60%, and we'll text align, and we'll go center. So now that's text align center in a box that's floated to the right that's got a darker background with 60% opacity. So we've actually typed all the rules here, and if we save this and go to our CSS, we can actually see now all those rules we just put in have come up here, and you can see the nesting of the CSS and container div tags. Now the next tag we need to deal with is actually the paragraph tag, the text itself. So at the moment that text is embedded within these div tags, and if we go to the code view you'll see it a little bit easier that there's a paragraph tag in here, and we can apply rules just to this text here. So what I want to change this to is the best places to stay, and save that. Go back to the live view. You can actually see now it's sitting in the middle there. Once again, if I'm not happy with the box that's there, I can always go down and adjust the properties of that. So it's at the moment set to 60%. I can then reduce that back to 40%, and the rules automatically apply. Or if I want to go back down to 30%, oops, a little small. Let's go back to 40%. No, it's got a pixel, sorry. We'll leave it at 40%. And now what we want to deal with is the text that's in there. So I'm selecting the P, you notice the P tag's highlighted, add a rule, and we want to come all the way down to the P tag. So I'm pressing enter. I'm going to go down to font color. So clicking on my text tool. Color, I want to set that to white. I can change the font family. I can change the weight to go to something lighter. I can change the size to 28 pixels. And if I want, I can ensure there's some padding around this to ensure it floats nicely. So I'm just going to put 20, tab 20, tab 20, tab 20, and it moves you around the box. So there's 20 pixel padding around that. And that's now created our hero image and also a hero text. So when we go to File and Save All, then we can go down and view this in a browser like Safari. And as we move and resize the box, it looks like it's web friendly and mobile friendly.